guys, Kings here with another basic unit guide. Today we have a real interesting one actually. We're going to be looking at a T5 unit, Flamers, or what's commonly referred to in Conqueror's Blade as Siphonarioi. I don't think I'm probably pronouncing that right. They're commonly referred to as Flamers. They have flamethrowers, that's all you need to know. They're so cool, they do lots of damage. In fact, they do massive amounts of damage, huge amounts of CC. They're very, very good in the competitive scene, in the likes of Territory War, CBL and such. We'll be doing our typical unit guide of it with a bit of gameplay as well. So again, if you have any questions, please drop them down in the comments. I'm not always right, so if you've got other ways that you build these units, by all means, please let me know. Let's have a conversation about it. I love talking about the different units. You know, if you like the video, please drop a like. It does help the videos out. And without further ado, let's take a look in the barracks. Let's see how this unit's set up, and then move on to some gameplay. Okay, so let's take a look at our Flamers. Before we click into the Flamer, actually, it's worth having a quick look at where to unlock them. You can unlock them from the Season 5 Veterancy Line Legacy of Fire. Veterancy Line, the seasonal units here. It's the last one, so you have to unlock the Ball Boys here. They're basically a dumbed down version of the Flamers. They throw little pots that have got oil in them. They set fire to it, do loads of damage, much more. They're very like Flamers, but they work slightly differently. We'll maybe cover them in a different video. We've got the upgrades to Spear Sergeants and Men at Arms here, called Paladins and Stalwarts, and then we have the Siphonarioi. I'm going to keep calling them Flamers because I can never pronounce that correctly. So let's take a look at the barracks and how these guys fare. So we do have, let's start off with this, Ranged Infantry Special. What does that mean? Well, let's be honest, they have a bloody flamethrower, for crying out loud. They're not a bow and arrow unit or a traditional ranged unit such as a crossbowman or something like that. They have a flamethrower. And this is the only unit in the game that has a very unique weapon like this, and we'll look at why and what it does in a minute. 330 leadership, 7 heads in, or 7 head count, 7 people in the unit. Let's have a look at their veterancy line. So it's they're quite similar. I'm going to be honest, they're quite similar. We've got some defense in the bottom line. We've got some ammo. We have reductions in certain abilities, extra duration on certain abilities. And then the last one here is the 20% reduced defences. I mean, go and have a look at them yourself. There is quite a similarity between both lines. The reason the top line is favoured here, especially by myself and others, is you've got the reductions as well in this line. So if we compare the two, this is an increase in fire damage by 240. So you times that by 3, and that's what you're getting from that. You don't get that here, and the final one is 480. So you're getting a huge increase in damage for your flames here in the top, just by these 2 attribute points here, or veterancy points. We've also got things like increased rate of fire, reduced cooldowns, and so on. The only difference really between the two is the increase in defense, which we can get from the top line and the bottom line, hence why this one is favourable. Extra damage, they're so squishy as it is, and we'll look at the stats in a second, that the 20% increase in defense is not really going to do much at all. But we get the extra increase in 60% there each level, and then we've got the 10% down here, so that's 70%. The Flamers will run out of ammo very quickly if you do not have that extra ammo. So going top line, getting that extra 60% ammo plus the 10, and then a bit of defense here, and then all of the cooldown reduction, it's just far superior in most people's opinion. Again, not the only way. You can play them differently. You could play them bottom line, but most people have it typically built in the top line. So why? So let's look at the stats here. Health, 5,092. Even though they have armor, even though they're a T5 and they're fairly fairly well armored, as you can see down here, they've not got the worst defense stats in the world. Their health is as it would be for a ranged unit, such as a bowman or a crossbowman or something like that. They have very low health, and therefore the defense is kind of redundant, considering the fact that you 1 or 2 hits and you're going to kill one of these guys, which we'll cover. But they are a glass cannon. They have very little health but do a lot of damage. Down here, the stats are a little bit interesting because it doesn't actually show what their pure damage does. It says Flamers do blunt damage, not slashing or piercing damage. So this is in relation to when they run out of ammo and they use their hand-to-hand weapon, this is the damage that they will do, from my understanding. Now I could be wrong on that, but flames do not do slashing or piercing damage, they do blunt damage. So all of this additional damage here, this 480 plus you know, the damage increase here, that doesn't add up to 800 damage. So they have a base blunt damage of 800. This obviously boosts their flame damage, but that's not represented here in their attack attributes. So just wanted to clear that up. And again, if I'm wrong, please do mention in the comment section, because that's what I've been told for many seasons. But they're a bit of a unique unit in the game, and that's why the stats don't add up correctly. Quick look at their abilities before we have a look at the units themselves. We've got Hellfire. I mean, this basically just says that they fire flames, they use flames. They can scorch the ground, so these are the two abilities, Firestorm and Scorched Earth, which we'll see in a minute, and then Flame Resistant. So nothing major in terms of the unit traits, but this is basically a wall of fire that they spit at the enemy with their flamethrowers, and this is shooting the ground and setting fire to the ground, so if units walk on it, they do damage over time. So a quick look at the doctrines. It's pretty basic. You've got the Imperium doctrines, the Assassination and the Breakthrough. These, rather than using the 90 for the top bit, so the increased damage to heroes by 85 and 95, it's using the bottom bit because these are Imperium units, or Inferium units. So extra 10% damage to infantry and 9% damage to heroes, as opposed to 85 and 95. We also have some specific doctrines here for the flamies. So we've got the increased damage by 200 with Hellfire strikes. I've got a bit of tank on me. Again, these are not the best doctrines. I've got some basic life doctrine and the basic kind of piercing defense. What I recommend is switching, maybe having a purple and an epic life doctrine on these guys, and also using the actual the other seasonal one that you get for the last challenge. I haven't completed it yet, but it's pretty good. It's increasing the flame duration by 2 seconds, which is also recommended. So let's have a look at the unit formations and how these units are played. Okay, so Flamers looking very, very good there with their big flamethrowers. 2 unit formations worth talking about, I suppose. The first one which you see them in is the staggered, and the second is the line formation, where they simply adopt a single file line in a horizontal fashion. This unit is a high damage output unit. It's not a frontline unit. If exposed to enemies, even the weakest of enemies being grey units, they will struggle to deal with them. They need a front line, they need shields, they need other units in front of them, and they do an exceptional amount of damage, create a lot of CC, and they are a general fantastic unit used in things like high competitive play and territory war. You see this in the CBL a lot, and a variety of other things, but generally not the unit you want to be taking in the front line. So let's have a quick look at their skills. They have 2 skills worth noting. We're going to put them behind a wall here, or somewhat covered behind a wall, and we'll just start the encounter to bring some enemies our way. So we've got some pikes coming our way. Now the first ability is just a direct fire. They just simply fire their flamethrowers at a location. The second ability is Scorched Earth. So they spray the hellfire all over the ground. So we're going to open with that first, and we're going to place that about there now, and they're going to spray the ground. And then what we're going to do is we're going to aim our flame at the wall, not at the floor. And you can see that it slightly raises it and sprays it directly in the faces of the enemies. And that's typically one of the best tips that you can get using this unit, is never to use your first ability and spray at the enemy on the ground. And I'll just demonstrate that one more time without enemies. We don't do this. We do not want to do this. This will just spray it at the ground, or well, towards the enemy there. If you aim it upwards at a wall away from the enemy, you notice that they spray it slightly up, and this will hit the units in the head. It will hit them in the chest, and you'll just get more kills with it. Cool, so let's look at how this unit is used in an actual game. Okay, so in this clip we are in Regionopolis. We've got Fenrir's attacking Greyhairs in front of our Flamers. We've got Berserkers, and we've, by the looks of it, got Azaps. So we're going to lay down some Scorched Earth, flame that ground, and then we're going to pump loads of flames directly into the centre mass. And as you can see, it's slowly ticking up our unit kills. Only getting about 16 there, but I suppose it's more about protecting our Greyhair garrison unit there keeping the enemy CC'd and allowing the majority of those grey hairs to pick up the rest of the damage. Eventually though, we are going to have to now return our flamers to the supply point as they're half HP, they're half ammo, and we're going to need to prepare for the next attack. Same city here on the defense again, but this time we've got a unit of shields. We're getting pushed on one side. We're going to scorched earth the small gap there. As you can see, we've got all of that flamed ground there, stopping any units from pushing through. And we've got axe raiders. So axe raiders are a counter to flamers. They can jump straight through shields, get on top of our flamers, and do some serious damage. But luckily enough, our shields managed to block most of them. We lose a couple. We're going to back our flamers into the corner because we need other units to be in front of them. We've got some Imperial Pike Guard on the advance. We're going to scorched earth them, pick up a player kill there, and then toast the remaining Imperial Pikes that are pushing through and finish up the battle. Pretty nice use, and only lost 2 units there, 2 men from the unit. In this clip, we're going to see how not really to use flamers. We're going to charge them in. It's kind of overwhelming numbers of the enemy. We've got enemies all over the place. No real front line. We've got Fortebrasches that aren't in brace. They're trying to form up. Somehow we flame in the completely wrong direction. Palace Guards on top. Heroes jumping on top of our flamers, and we're quickly dispatched, and therefore not the best use of the unit. In this particular clip, we're going to see, it's a bit of a longer clip. We're doing a big push in the bottom tunnels of Regionopolis here, and we're going to do a bit of a play. We're going to push around the shields. We're going to hope that nobody takes out our flamers on the push. We're going to try and get our flamers round the corner. They're going to take a little bit of damage there, but we didn't lose any of them yet, and we're just going to open fire with the flames. Scorched earth to open, followed by targeting the back of the enemy pack there and cooking as many units as we can. And look at those unit kills go up and up and up as our friendly units push in. As we start to open, we're going to move the flamers forward. Palace Guard in the back doing a bit of damage, but we've still got 6 of them left, a couple of them on sliver of life, and we're just going to keep pumping those flames into the enemy locations when possible. We get an assist there on a player. Looks like the majority of the enemies have been dispatched, and we're just tidying up the last few heroes there. Same map, again, Regionopolis is the map today. We've got the breach open on the attack. We're going to push in, probably a bit too quickly pushing in flamers there, but we're going to push in against some, by the looks of it, some woodcutters. We should make short work of the woodcutters. We've got an enemy flamer unit on the right-hand side there, and we've got some infantry, some berserkers did flank half of our flamers though. We lost a couple flamey boys there. Quickly get rid of them before we focus on the bigger pack of enemies in front. Big charge in from the enemy. We're just waiting on some of our CDs. We're going to buff all of our units, move our flamers forward a little bit, and start pumping the flames at the enemy. Scorched earth to start with. Hold off any enemy advance. Pick up a player kill there, or 2. And we're just waiting now for the enemy to make that push. We're capping the point. Here's the big problem though. Enemy have built some rockets. Probably not the best. We're going to send them back, but I think very quickly we're going to notice that the enemy are going to push, and we're going to bring them back straight away. As the enemy charge in, it's a great opportunity for us to lay down our flamers and get a good few shots off. We're going to lose a couple more to that rocket, but meanwhile we're getting the flames off, and as you can see, we have accrued around 76 unit kills in this engagement. We've only got a few flamers left, 84 now, so it's just going up and up and up, and it looks like we've only got 1 flamer or so left, probably the end of the use of that unit. And here we're at Conqueror City, opening with Flamer versus Flamer. We're going to lose a few flamers to their strike and take a few of them out. But we're going to hang around here. Our cavs pushed in. We're capping the point. And what we want to do here is we want to block off, to the best of our ability, the enemy reinforcements. So we're going to lay scorched earth on the ground in front of the staircase to hopefully hold up some units. Massive push down, so probably if we had that scorched earth a bit later and not used it, it would have been better off. But we're just going to pump the flame into the body of the units that are coming down. Unfortunately, we're on CD. Our flamers are kind of targeting units that aren't really in the middle of the pack. And just as it comes on CC, we're going to get a use out of it, but it's just not enough, and we're going to get pushed back and then quickly dispatched by a unit of Kashyyyks. So there you go. Flamers, extremely fun unit to play with, very, very vulnerable, but used in the right way with a combination of other infantry unit, whether it's infantry or shield or something along those lines, it can be an extremely powerful unit that's going to rack up the kills lay down some CC on an enemy push, whether it's a defense or attack, and enable you to swing the tide of battle. In a lot of territory war, these units are used on choke points like gatehouses, on breaches, and a variety of other small enclosed areas, because they can be backed up by other units very well, and they can CC a specific area and just keep pumping flames into that area over and over and over again until they need to go back and get ammunition. So as always, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Please drop a comment if you've got something to add to this. Please drop a like on the video as well. That really helps me. And look, I hope you've enjoyed it. It's a basic guide. More to come from the channel. That's it from me. I've been Kings. Hope you've enjoyed it.